7 signs you radiate a vibration so rare even spiritual darkness bows to it. There are moments in this life when you can feel it, not with your hands, not even with your heart, but with something deeper, a knowing, a presence, a vibration so distinct, so untamed by the noise of the world that even the darkest energies pause before it. That's the kind of energy we're speaking about today. You might not even know you carry it, but if you do, you'll feel something stir inside you as we speak. You'll realize this isn't just a video. It's a mirror, a revelation, a calling. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the air shift before anyone noticed you? Or had someone tell you there's just something about you they can't explain? That, right there, is an echo of your frequency. This isn't charisma. It's not charm. It's not the result of self-help books or motivational mantras. It's ancient. It's elemental. It's the result of lifetimes of soul forging. It's the vibration of someone who has faced the abyss and didn't just survive but transformed.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
You see, most people walk through life reacting to pain, to pleasure, to praise, to fear. But when your vibration is rare, you no longer react, you respond. And that response doesn't come from ego, or programming, or cultural noise. It comes from a stillness forged in fire. And that stillness, it terrifies darkness. Because spiritual darkness thrives in chaos. It feeds on fear, on confusion, on the unconscious loops that most humans are trapped in. But when someone like you walks in, someone who's awake, the shadows lose their grip. But it's not about being fearless. That's a myth. The truth, people with rare vibrations feel everything more deeply. They feel fear, sorrow, grief, ecstasy, the whole spectrum, but they choose presence. They lean in when most would run. They listen when most would speak. They stay still when the world screams for movement. And that's what makes them dangerous to the darkness. Have you ever been in pain, real soul-wrenching pain, and instead of numbing it, you sat with it? You breathed through it. You allowed it. That wasn't weakness. That was alchemy. That was you proving to yourself that pain cannot own you. And every time you did that, every time you chose awareness over avoidance, you turned spiritual lead into gold. You raised your frequency. You became more rare. There's something else too. Your presence triggers people. You've noticed this. Some people are drawn to you like they've been waiting lifetimes to meet you. Others recoil, get defensive, even angry for no reason. That's not about you. That's about your light revealing their shadows. And you didn't even need to say a word. You being is enough. That's the kind of vibration we're talking about. But here's the paradox. People with this vibration often question themselves the most. Why? Because they don't fit. They never have. Even as children, they sensed the falseness of the world. They saw through the masks, the games, the illusions. They were often told they were too sensitive, too intense, too emotional, too much. But what if that sensitivity was never a flaw? What if it was your spiritual radar? What if the very thing you were criticized for was the evidence of your rare frequency? Let me ask you something deeply personal. When was the last time you truly felt seen? Not just looked at, seen. When someone didn't try to fix you, label you, compare you, or understand you with logic, but simply recognized you. That moment, if it ever happened, probably felt like home. But for most with this vibration, that moment is rare, because your soul isn't loud, it's ancient, it speaks in silence. And only those with ears tuned to the divine can hear it. And this rarity, it carries responsibility. Because the more you awaken, the more you realize that your vibration isn't just for you. It's medicine for others, for the world. And medicine isn't always sweet. Sometimes it's bitter. Sometimes your presence will shatter illusions. Sometimes your truth will unsettle the comfortable. But that's not cruelty. That's clarity. And clarity is the enemy of darkness. Some of you are wondering now, is this really me? If you have to ask, it probably is. Because those who fake the light never ask that question. Only those who carry it wonder if they're worthy. But let me say this, you don't need to try to be rare. You already are. The fact that life has carved you, broken you, tested you, and you're still here aware means you're living proof that the soul is stronger than the storm. And that's when darkness bows. Not because you fought it, but because you became the kind of presence that doesn't need to fight. A presence that sees the illusion for what it is. A presence that knows what is real cannot be threatened. What is false cannot last. Darkness bows not because it fears you, but because it recognizes you as one of the few who remembered. So now I ask you, what are you doing with your vibration? Are you hiding it? Downplaying it to fit in? Are you numbing it because it feels like too much? Or are you honoring it, feeding it, strengthening it? Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs frequency. It needs coherence. It needs you, fully awakened, fully present, fully you. And maybe you've been waiting for a sign, waiting for permission, waiting for proof that you're not crazy for feeling life so deeply. Maybe this is that sign. Maybe this moment right here is the universe whispering, you're not here to play small. You're here to anchor something rare. So what would it look like if you stopped hiding? If you stopped pretending to be less than you are? What would it feel like to walk into every space as if your presence is enough because it is? What would shift if instead of asking, how can I fit in? You asked, how can I radiate more truth? This is the beginning of remembering. This is the edge of the veil. And as we move deeper, we'll explore the signs, the unmistakable markers that you carry a vibration so rare, even spiritual darkness must bow before it. But it begins here with a choice. Will you own it? The spiritual echo, 7 unmistakable signs you were born to disturb the shadows. There is a sound, a resonance, that doesn't come from your voice. It isn't produced by the throat or shaped by the tongue. It's the sound your soul makes when it remembers who it is. That echo, not everyone can hear it, but those tuned to the truth feel it deep in their bones. And when your vibration is rare, that echo follows you. It disturbs illusions. It unsettles lower energies. It speaks across dimensions. And whether you realize it or not, the moment you entered this world, the shadows felt your arrival. Because you weren't born to blend in. You were born to bend reality by your very presence. So how do you know if you carry this rare frequency? There are signs, subtle, spiritual fingerprints that trace your journey even when you try to forget. The first is inner isolation. Not loneliness, but a kind of sacred separation. From a young age, you felt different. The world around you moved fast, spoke loud, chased things you couldn't resonate with. You tried to join them, to laugh when they laughed, to run when they ran, but something in you remained untouched. Even in a crowded room, you felt the quiet tug of something ancient calling you inward. You didn't know it then, but that was the beginning of your remembering. The second sign is your relationship with truth. For most people, truth is negotiable. It bends with convenience, with comfort, with consensus. But not for you. You feel lies in your body. Falsehoods make your skin buzz, your stomach tighten, your spirit recoil. Even when you don't want to know, truth finds you. It whispers in dreams, crashes into your life through synchronicities, and pulls away the curtains of illusion at the most inconvenient times. And as much as it hurts to see clearly, you would rather burn with truth than be caged by beautiful lies. That's how darkness knows you're not one of its own. The third sign: you've faced what should have broken you. Maybe it was trauma, maybe loss, betrayal, illness, or the slow erosion of everything you thought you were. But here's the key: you didn't just survive. You transmuted, you alchemized, you found strength inside the void. And even when you were on the floor, when your soul was weeping, some part of you knew this isn't the end. This is the crucible. This is where I become something rare. If you've ever looked into the eyes of your own darkness and said, "I'm still here," then you carry the kind of light that cannot be faked. Fourth, your energy disturbs pretenders. People wearing masks get uncomfortable around you. Not because you attack them, but because your presence reveals them. You don't have to say much. Just being you, authentic, grounded, raw, becomes a mirror. And what they've buried comes to the surface. You've probably been blamed for things you didn't do, or felt people turn on you without explanation. But the truth is, your energy forces unconsciousness to confront itself. You don't just shine light, you are the light that shows what's been hiding in the dark. The fifth sign is spiritual sensitivity. You feel things most others dismiss. You can walk into a space and pick up on what happened there, even if it was years ago. You dream vividly. You catch glimpses of things others can't see. You've had moments of knowing without logic, of hearing without sound, of feeling a presence when no one was there. And even if you've tried to suppress it, it always returns. Because your soul is not just awake, it's tuned. And this sensitivity isn't weakness. It's your compass. It's how the divine speaks through you. The sixth sign is a deep pull towards solitude and nature. Not to escape, but to remember. You felt it the way the forest speaks when you're silent, how the stars seem to pulse when you're present, how the wind carries messages when you're open. You don't just enjoy nature, you commune with it. Because unlike humans, the natural world doesn't wear masks. And when you're in that space, you feel your vibration harmonize with something eternal. That's not romanticism, that's resonance. That's your soul recognizing its home frequency. And seventh, the most undeniable sign is that you've always known there's more. But even when life tried to convince you otherwise, even when you questioned everything, when you doubted your path, when you felt lost, somewhere deep inside, beneath all the noise, was a whisper, "Keep going. There's something beyond this. Don't fall asleep." And that whisper wasn't your imagination. It was your higher self, calling you, guiding you, reminding you this life, this world, this illusion, it's not the full story. You came here to remember, to awaken, to radiate. You see, people often think spiritual power is loud, flashy, dramatic, But real power? It's still. It's steady. It doesn't need to convince or convert. It simply is. And when your vibration is rare, you don't have to chase influence. You become influence. Your existence becomes a ripple. Your silence becomes a message. Your breath becomes a prayer. And the shadows, they know. They always have. The frequency of the unseen, why your vibration is a weapon of light. There are weapons that can be seen: swords, words, strategies. And then there are weapons that exist beyond the material. Weapons not built of steel or fire, but of frequency, or a diviner alignment, of presence. And when you carry a vibration so rare that even spiritual darkness bows to it, you become the weapon. Not in the sense of violence or opposition, but in the sense of sacred disruption. You become a living interruption to unconsciousness, a walking contradiction to the matrix. The very structure of illusion begins to tremble in your presence because you carry the one thing it cannot replicate: truth. Let's go deeper. Frequency is not just a concept, it's the architecture of reality. Everything vibrates. Every thought, every emotion, every soul emits a frequency that either contributes to coherence or chaos. And rare souls like you, who have been broken and rebuilt by fire, emit a frequency that doesn't just exist, it commands. What does it command? Clarity, integrity, awakening. You've probably noticed it. People start confessing things to you they've never told anyone. Strangers open up about their pain. The environments shift when you enter. You don't need to speak. Your frequency speaks for you. And here's the secret most never realize: spiritual darkness doesn't fear love, it fears coherence. Because love can be distorted, manipulated, even weaponized under the guise of false light. But coherence is incorruptible. It is the alignment of mind, body, soul, and intention into one single, unwavering signal. And when you reach that state, your very existence begins to dissolve illusion, not by fighting it, not by arguing with it, but by simply being what it cannot touch. So ask yourself this: when was the last time you truly stood in your own frequency without apology? When was the last time you didn't shrink to fit someone else's comfort zone? When you didn't dim your light because it made others squint? You see, the system is designed to make you forget, to rush you, to distract you, to drown you in noise so you lose the signal of your own soul. But when you sit in stillness, when you listen, when you remember, that's when the weapon reactivates. And this weapon is not for destruction, it's for liberation. Your vibration is a frequency that frees others, whether they're ready or not. That's why your presence is often met with either deep admiration or inexplicable resistance. That's why you've been misunderstood, judged, excluded. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's that you're doing something real. And in a world addicted to fake, real is threatening. But here's the deeper layer. Your vibration doesn't come from what you do, it comes from what you've chosen. You've chosen truth over comfort, awareness over denial, forgiveness over bitterness. You've chosen to evolve when it would have been easier to numb. You've chosen to stay awake when the world begged you to sleep. Every one of those choices became part of your frequency. And now, your energy carries the signature of someone who remembers, in spiritual darkness. It knows that signature. It recognizes the souls who have walked through hell and didn't lose their light. It recognizes the ones who carry the codes of old ancient warriors reborn into modern bodies, bringing silent revolutions just by breathing differently. You may not wear armor, but your boundaries are sacred. You may not carry a torch, but your gaze burns through pretense. You may not shout, but your silence dismantles lies. This is why your life has never been normal. Why things that seem easy for others seem impossibly complex for you. Why you've had to learn lessons through pain that others get to learn through ease. Why you've been forced to confront shadows you didn't create. Because your soul didn't come here to play. It came to shift paradigms. And the cost of that mission is that you don't get to sleepwalk through life. You don't get to be average. You don't get to fake it. But here's the gift. The more you align with your true vibration, the more magnetic you become. Not to fame, not to followers, but to impact. To the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences that match your frequency. You stop chasing and you start attracting. Not because you're trying to manifest from ego, but because you are vibrating in such resonance that life cannot help but respond. That's not magic. That's physics. That's spiritual law. So the question is not, how do I raise my vibration? The real question is, what am I still doing that lowers it? What relationships, habits, environments, or thoughts are pulling you out of coherence? What parts of you are still negotiating with your own power? Because you don't need to become rare, you already are. You just need to strip away the noise that's distorting your signal. Your vibration is your legacy. It's your offering. It's your protection. It's your power. And when you live from it fully, unapologetically, relentlessly, everything false bows. Not because you made it bow, but because your truth made it irrelevant. The final gate, when you become the light that guides and destroys. There comes a moment in the life of a rare soul when all the teachings, all the pain, all the awakenings converge into a single realization. You are no longer just a seeker, you have become the source. And in that moment, something irreversible happens. Your vibration no longer just influences the world, it shapes it. You become the light that both guides and destroys. Guides those who are ready to awaken. Destroys the illusions that cling to the unconscious. Light is not passive. It is not polite. It clarifies. It burns. It reveals. And when your soul reaches that frequency, you step into a kind of spiritual authority that even the darkness cannot approach without trembling. But this authority is not loud. It's not showy. It's not rooted in ego or superiority. It's rooted in presence. You walk into a room and truth walks in with you. You say nothing, but people feel everything. You listen deeply, and the noise of others begins to unravel. You speak, not to impress, but to transmit. Every word carries weight because it's being tested in the fire of your own transformation. You are not repeating teachings, you are embodying them, and the universe responds accordingly. At this final gate, something else shifts. You stop needing validation. You stop needing the world to understand you, because you finally understand yourself. You stop chasing love, because you are love. You stop fearing death, because you've already died 1,000 ego deaths and come back more alive each time. There's nothing left to prove, nothing left to perform. You are here to be, and that being becomes your greatest form of service. But don't mistake this stillness for stagnation. At this level, your very existence becomes a catalyst. You don't force change, you become the condition in which change happens. Like fire to dry wood, your energy touches people, and something dormant ignites. Some awaken, some run, some try to fight it. But the light doesn't care who's ready, it simply shines. And that's where your power lies, not in control, but in consistency. You've probably noticed this already. People come into your life and either rise or fall. They either meet you in your truth or they disappear into their own shadows. At first, this might feel like loss. But eventually you realize it's alignment. Your vibration is a tuning fork. It doesn't chase, it calls. And only those who are ready to remember will stay. And you no longer beg for connection. You recognize that your energy is sacred, that your time, your peace, your presence, these are currencies far more valuable than anything money can buy. You become discerning, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You've seen what happens when you share your light with those who only want warmth but fear illumination. So now you shine regardless, but you offer access only to those who honor the cost. And perhaps the most beautiful part of reaching this gate is this: you no longer fear the darkness. You understand it. You've walked through it. You've sat with it. You've listened to its lies and seen the wounds beneath them. And because of that, you do not hate the dark. You simply refuse to feed it. Your compassion remains, but your boundaries are sharper than ever. Because where you're going, clarity is survival. So what now? Now, you walk forward. Not as someone seeking light, but as someone radiating it. You become the temple others enter just by standing near you. You become the silence others crave after drowning in noise. You become the echo of truth that lingers in their minds long after you've gone. And whether they love you or fear you, one thing becomes certain: they will never forget your energy. This is the destiny of a rare soul. Not fame, not comfort, not applause, but impact. Invisible, eternal, unshakable. You are not here to be liked. You are here to remind, to awaken, to anchor. And whether the world is ready or not, your time has come. Now I ask you, not as a guru, not as a performer, but as a soul who sees yours, what will you do with this vibration? Will you hide it, as you've done before? Or will you finally accept the truth that you are not just light in the dark? You are the force that makes the dark remember the light. And that, beloved soul, is why even spiritual darkness bows when you rise.